Which of these is true about hours of service? Be ready to drive. Get enough sleep. Leaving on a long trip when you're already tired is dangerous. If you have a long trip scheduled, make sure that you get enough sleep before you go. Most people require 7 to 8 hours of sleep every 24 hours. Which of these statements about drugs is true? Other drugs. Besides alcohol, other legal and illegal drugs are being used more often. Laws prohibit possession or use of many drugs while on duty. They prohibit being under the influence of any controlled substance. These are usually amphetamines, narcotics, or any other substance that can make the driver unsafe. This could include a variety of prescriptions and over the counter drugs, which may make the driver drowsy or otherwise affect safe driving ability. However, possession and use of a drug given to a driver by a doctor is permitted if the doctor informs the driver that it will not affect safe driving ability. Pay attention to warning labels of legitimate drugs and medicine and to doctors' orders regarding possible effects. Stay away from illegal drugs. Don't use any drug that hides fatigue. The only cure for fatigue is rest. Alcohol can make the effects of other drugs much worse. The safest rule is don't mix drugs with driving at all. Use of drugs can lead to traffic accidents resulting in death, injury, and property damage. Furthermore, it can lead to arrests, fines, and jail sentences. It can also mean the end of a person's driving career. One can recognize hazardous materials by looking at the containers. To communicate the risk, shippers put diamond shaped hazard warning labels on most hazardous materials packages. The shipper uses a shipping paper and package labels to warn dock workers and drivers of the risk. These labels inform others of the hazard. Shipping orders, bills of lading, and manifests are all examples of shipping papers. The shipping paper describes the hazardous materials being transported. If the diamond label won't fit on the container, shippers put the label on a tag. For example, compressed gas cylinders that will not hold the label will have tags or decals. You do not have a hazardous material endorsement on your commercial driver's license. You can drive a vehicle hauling hazardous materials only when hazardous material endorsement. Not all vehicles carrying hazardous material need to have a placard. You can drive a vehicle that carries hazardous materials if it does not require placards. If it requires placards, you must not drive it unless your driver's license has the hazardous materials endorsement. The driver is responsible for overloads, whether or not he loaded the cargo himself. Inspecting cargo. If you load cargo wrong or do not secure it, it can be a danger to others and yourself. Loose cargo that falls off of a vehicle can cause traffic problems and others could get hurt or killed. Loose cargo could hurt or kill you during a quick stop or crash. Your vehicle could be damaged by an overload. Steering could be affected by how a vehicle is loaded, making it more difficult to control the vehicle. Whether or not you load or secure the cargo yourself, you are responsible for inspecting your cargo, recognizing overloads and poorly balanced weight, and knowing if your cargo is properly secured. The regulations require that there should be at least one tie down for how many feet of cargo. Cargo tie down. On flatbed trailers or trailers without sides, cargo must be secured to keep it from shifting or falling off. In closed vans, tie downs can also be important to prevent cargo shifting that may affect the handling of the vehicle. Tie downs must be of the proper type and proper strength. Combined strength of all cargo tie downs must be strong enough to lift 1 1/2 the weight of the piece of cargo tied down. Proper tie down equipment must be used, including ropes, straps, chains, and tensioning devices. Tie downs must be attached to the vehicle correctly. Cargo should have at least one tie down for each 10 feet of cargo. Make sure you have enough tie downs to meet this need. No matter how small the cargo, it should have at least 2 tie downs holding it. Containerized loads. Sealed and containerized. Containerized loads generally are used when freight is carried partway by rail or ship. Delivery by truck occurs at the beginning and or end of the journey. Some containers have their own tie-down devices or locks that attach directly to a specific frame. Others have to be loaded onto flatbed trailers. They must be properly secured just like any other cargo. Over length, over width, or overweight loads. Oversized loads. Over length, over width, and overweight loads require special transit permits. Driving is usually limited to certain times. Special equipment may be necessary, such as wide load signs, flashing lights, flags, etc. Such loads may require police escort or pilot vehicles bearing warning signs and or flashing lights. These special loads require special driving care. You will now begin the testing phase. This quiz will test your knowledge on the general knowledge information. If you score an 85% or above, you're ready to go on to the DPS office and take your test on this section. Good luck.